great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.
Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 1026. And our next show is episode 1027. But today is the last day of March 31st, 2026. Tomorrow's April 1st. And we will be doing our show tomorrow. We just had fun shooting a little funny TikTok video for April Fool's tomorrow. So don't be fooled. Make sure to check that out. If you're not following us on TikTok, you should, at Immigration Hacking. Timmy Travels has our movie quote for the day. Welcome to the party, Alex. Who knows what that's from? I know what that's from. Welcome to the party, Alex. I know what that's from. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different while we get started. I don't know if you guys ever watched Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman. I think there's a movie coming out about her. But anyway, it's sort of like a news show way to the left. But I always enjoyed watching her. I guess she's still on. I don't know. But she would read news stories at the top of the show. And I think I might start trying this. Let me see what you guys think. I'm just going to sort of summarize some news stories that I found that I think might be underreported. And I just want to talk to you about those. So our first one comes from Substack and our friend Austin Kocher, and he is a researcher affiliated with Syracuse University, and he keeps track of lots of things related to ICE and detention and deportation, and he also keeps track of the number of people who have died in ICE custody. And would you be surprised to learn that as we sit here today in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter of the year, that 14 people have died in ICE custody. Last Friday, a reliable source informed me that another immigrant had died in ICE custody, this time in Adelanto, California. LA Taco, which has broken the story on several detained deaths this year, confirmed this in an article that same day. On Monday, March 30th, ICE officially announced that Jose Guadalupe Ramos Solano died while in custody at Adelanto. Jose is the 14th person to die in ICE custody this year, and the 43rd person to die in custody during the Trump administration. The rate of one death every 6.0 days this calendar year continues to hold with remarkably morbid precision. I can't explain it, but it's the weirdest, creepiest number I've seen in a long time. It's sort of like a serial killer. You rarely see things like this in immigration data, but it could not be more predictable right now. One immigrant dies in custody every 6 days. The Adelanto ICE Processing Center has seen tremendous growth in its detained population under the Trump administration, and similarly seen a growth in detainee deaths. Jose Guadalupe Ramos Solano is the 4th person to die at this private for-profit facility operated by the Geo Group. In prior years, that's a for-profit prison company. In prior years, this would have constituted a crisis. Instead of addressing what are clearly systemic failings in ICE's detention system, ICE seems to save its energy for tweaking its press releases to insert petty digs and minor typographical snark, in addition to the unabashedly dehumanizing headlines. Have you seen these things? They love to make the person out to be Charles Manson, and that somehow justifies them killing the person in their custody. All right. The agency's latest press release incorporates, wait for it, bold text. The agency emphasizes immediately, referring to when medical care was provided. Who thinks that's true? The deceased alleged local criminal charges and other parts of the press release in a weirdly defensive posture befitting an agency that does not take custodial deaths seriously. The agency has no basis for being this snarky or confident. No independent investigation has been conducted, nor is it likely that one will ever be done. ICE's press releases have become a site of minor but not insignificant performative politics that aims to distract from underlying problems. ICE now functions as much like a peeved or angry Redditor as an actual government agency. So that's upsetting. Next up, we have a story from NBC News. ICE agents will be stationed outside Marine Corps graduation events. This is from NBC News, Courtney Cube and Julia Ainsley. ICE agents will be stationed outside graduation events for the nation's newest Marines to identify whether any of their family members are undocumented, according to the Marine Corps. As the U.S. continues the war in Iran, the Marine Corps has boosted protection measures on bases, requiring everyone to present real IDs, U.S. passports, or U.S. birth certificates to access any sites. Undocumented immigrants are generally ineligible for federal real IDs and don't have U.S. passports or birth certificates. So people without identifying documents who arrive at the gate of the Marine Corps Recruit Depot at Parris Island in South Carolina for Recruit Family Days and graduation events this week may now have to answer to ICE officials, the Marine Corps said. Because of, quote, increased force protection measures at the recruiting depot, federal law enforcement personnel will be present at installation access points to conduct enhanced screening and lawful immigration status inquiries during recruit family and graduation days. A message on the Parris Island website read. That's what it said on the government website. While sometimes family members don't have proper documentation, it wasn't clear why ICE had decided to station at Parris Island. It's because they're lazy and they're just going to find immigrants that they can. It's not that they care about Marines or the fact that these men and women are sacrificing their lives for the rest of us. A DHS spokesman said any suggestion that ICE would make arrests was false. I will not be making arrests at the basic training graduation in Parris Island, the spokesperson said. But it said it on the government website, so I don't know where they're coming from. Graduation is Friday morning, but family members are invited to visit the base and celebrate their sons and daughters' completion of the grueling training beginning Wednesday. Marine recruits aren't allowed to see their families during the 13-week boot camp. While the Marine Corps routinely coordinates with federal partners on security matters, this is the first time in recent memory that federal law enforcement agencies have supported base access operations at Parris Island in this capacity, according to a spokesperson for MCRD Parris Island. The spokesperson encouraged all visitors to be prepared for additional screening measures. To help ensure a smooth and timely process, guests should bring proper identification and limit the number of items they bring in. Marine Corps recruits have treated at Parris Island since November 1915. It has graduation ceremonies about 46 weeks of the year, according to a spokesperson. So there's ICE going to round up immigrants at Marine Corps graduation ceremonies. It's mind-boggling. Let's see here. Sorry about that. All right. And finally, a D.C. federal judge on Monday vacated 6 immigration court fee increases unveiled in 2020, finding the Executive Office for Immigration Review failed to consider how the fee spikes would affect the legal services providers like the ones that sued to block them. Judge Amit Mehta's summary judgment opinion rejected EOIR's argument that the legal service providers were essentially complaining about the hit to their bottom lines by having to cover the cost of their fees for their clients, calling that a mischaracterization of concerns the providers submitted during the rulemaking process. The Catholic Legal Immigration Network, Community Legal Services in East Palo Alto, Kind Incorporated, and the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles are raising concerns about their ability to serve low-income clients, the judge said. When the very organizations that provide these services asserted that the fee increases would reduce their capacity to deliver them, it was incumbent upon the agency to listen and address their concerns. EOIR failed to do so. Judge Mehta said the existence of fee waivers should have addressed the provider's concern, but that the fee waivers failed to address their capacity to deliver representation and, in fact, exacerbated it. Judge Mehta said EOIR had dismissed these public comments during the rulemaking process as speculative, as the legal service providers had no recent experience with how increased fees might affect their workload. So you know how a lot of times people ask me, Jim, is there anything that we can do? And we'll say, hey, you should file a comment when new rules that are anti-immigrant come out. The judge use those comments in striking down these fee increases. Judge Mehta said commenters did not have to be Nostradamus, that's a person who could predict the future, to predict that fee increases of up to 800% would yield corresponding increases in fee waiver work. Accordingly, he said the concerns weren't speculative, and EOIR should have provided a reasoned response. Some of the fees went up as much as 800%. 6 of those have been blocked since 2021, and now that blocking is permanent. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the judge, I'm sure he'll get appealed, and we'll see what happens after that. So that's the news for today, March 31st, 2026. Let's go ahead and get started and talk to Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, great talking to you. I'm gonna just say very quickly, I really admire everything you do and your team. I've worked with you in the past, so that's like 6, 7 years ago, and I remember first time I talking to you on the phone. It was a quick phone call, and you were like, "We're gonna get you your green card, buddy." I happened few months after that, so I just appreciate you and everything you do.
Awesome.
I'm at the time now. I got the green card based on an NIW. I did the lawsuit with you, the mandamus. I got it a few weeks after that. That was 2021 September. That's when I got it. So I'm due to apply for the citizenship this summer. I'm from Libya, so
Okay.
the lights are off now, but so I can apply now, right? And then wait for whenever they put the lights back on, or
Yeah. What's the start date of your green card?
September 2021.
And so you can apply 3 months early. So that's June of 2021, right? Or June of 2026.
Yes, this summer, yeah, June.
Yeah, so this summer. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if the pause is still in effect. But yeah, I mean, if you were eligible to apply today, I would say, yeah, go ahead and apply today. And then when they turn the lights back on and start processing cases, you'll be at the start of the line.
Okay, I know you don't have a crystal ball and it's hard to predict, but do you think this pause will be lifted? Do you know any like timeline? Like I'm very pessimistic for some reason. I guess realistic, but like I'm thinking 2 years, but
It could be. It could be. I mean, we filed a lawsuit on December 23rd. We filed an amended complaint on January 2nd. We argued our motion for a preliminary injunction on February 13th, and we're still waiting on the judge. So, you know, that was 6 weeks ago. So we're just waiting.
okay. Also, can I work with you for my N400? I know it's a simple filing, but I just
Sure.
will have more confidence working with you.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Specifically with you, if I can get the opportunity. I know you have a great team, but
I don't handle cases.
oh, not anymore.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. All right. The second question, I'm gonna make it quick. This is for my spouse. She's also from the same country. She came here as a student in August 2023, and I got to know her. And in February 2024, we got married. I sponsored her as a green card holder. The dates were current, so we filed concurrently. Her I-130 got approved. Her I-485 is still pending. Got two RFEs for medical. The last one was just a month ago. We filed it, and that's it. I was wondering if you have any insight, anything.
Yeah, it's
any
paused.
guidance.
They can't give her a green card until the pause is lifted. Same thing as if you were. Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, there's a caveat here, and I just realized that after I was reviewing everything, that there's a family that the host family that she stayed with them, they know me. So she knew me through them even before she come here. But I mean, I didn't have the intention to marry her until she came here. But she put my address in her school because she trusted, because that's a big family that she stayed with, and she said she put my address, and I was like thinking now, I was like, oh, that doesn't look good, although it was genuine. Do you think that will be a problem?
So she was an au pair?
She was staying with the host family, but she put my address in her school for any documents that she received from the school, even before we got married.
She was on a J1?
No, it's an F1. She dropped it now.
Okay, so I'm confused because she shouldn't have been with the family if she was on an F1.
Oh, she was with them, yeah, but up until February 2024.
Let's back up. Okay. When did you meet her?
I met her after she came, so in fall 2023, September, October, November.
You didn't know her in Libya?
No, but I know we have mutual friends. That's the family that she stayed with them.
Okay, I'll get to that. But so So she came to the United States to be an F1 international student, right?
Yes, yes,
And she applied for, she got an I-20 from a school, and she
yes,
applied for an F1 visa from the embassy, right?
yes.
What address did she tell them she was going to stay at when she came?
I guess she stayed at the hotel. She had an hotel address.
That was, no, you can't put in a hotel address. Okay. So anyway, so when did she use your address for the first time?
When she so because through the family, she know, I mean, I have a stable address and everything. She came to me, she gets some guidance about being a student, stuff like that, and she asked if I can use your address because she's staying with the family that have, six members of that family, receiving a lot of mail. She said, I'm single, so can I use your address? I was like, sure. So she put that in her school information.
Right after arriving?
I guess a few weeks after that, because that was pending or something, they contact her for an address, emergency contact. She
And
put her mom.
you just happened to live in the same city as this big family that she allegedly stayed with?
Yes.
Uh, how long after she arrived did you guys get married?
She arrived August 30, 2023. We got married February 18, 2024. So
So
that's,
can I tell you what I think they're going to think is going on?
yeah, of course.
They're going to think that you were married in Libya and that you brought
No.
her here on a student visa and used your address because she was that the whole family stuff was just a smokescreen because you were really already married, maybe just religiously in Libya, and that your whole plan was to get her here on a student visa so that you could sponsor her for a green card.
I see how that looks bad.
Yeah. Yep.
So is there anything I can like she can get letters from the family she stayed at or anything else to
Well,
be prepared?
when did she move in with you? Only after she got married?
Yes.
So wallahi, she really lived in that family's house, not with you.
Yes.
Wallahi.
Wallahi, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well then that's gonna be the most important thing. That's what you're gonna have to prove up. And I know it's hard. You're gonna have to prove that you didn't know her when she came up with this plan to come to the United States. And they're gonna find it very convenient that she just happened to pick a family to stay with that happened to be in the city of where she ultimately met her husband.
No, I understand. That's why I was thinking about this, and I contacted, because the head of the household family told them, this might. She already have many pictures with them because she stayed with them and all that
Yeah,
in
but
the
that,
house and
that
everything.
could just be
Like,
part.
but I said, can you write a letter for her? He said I can, but I don't know if that's necessary or not. Just that's my question basically. What can I do to mitigate this?
You got to prove that you didn't know her back home.
Okay, I can. I mean, I didn't, so I don't know what to produce though.
Well, I guess it would turn on the story of how you actually met.
Okay. Okay, so that would be the evidence. Okay.
Tricky. Thanks for the call, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Jim. Appreciate you. All right.
Bye,
Bye
buddy.
bye.
All right. I-45 denial concern. Hello.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Good.
So yeah, I'm gonna get to this quick, but I came to this country in 2021 August, and I came on an F1 visa. Um, and I left and came back to the country a couple of times, but I'm currently on OPT. Last summer, I was on special student relief, of and it expired on May, and I didn't know that I couldn't work on a AD, um, pending EAD, and I worked on my expired EAD, and I'm trying to adjust my status through an employer now with AB3 while I'm on OPT. And I was just like looking it over with their lawyer, with the employer's lawyer, and he basically told me I shouldn't have worked on a pending EAD. But yeah, like, is there any chance that I can like still be able to like legally like change my status to an EB3, or is
Un-
that like
Unlikely.
unlikely? Okay,
Hmm.
okay. I saw a law like 180 days, but like that doesn't apply to me.
That's right.
Okay. Is there anything that I can do to mitigate this, or
Did the work happen before your last entry, or was the work after your last entry?
it was after?
Yeah. So in theory, you could leave the United States and come back, but that's a very risky thing on its own. Is your visa expired?
Yeah, that was expired.
So if you leave, they're not going to let you come back. They're not going to give you another visa once you tell them you worked without authorization.
True. True. Yeah. Okay. So like after they deny my application, my I-485, like do I have to? Can I like stay in the country, or do I have to like go back?
They would put you in deportation.
Deportation. Okay. And it's illegal to like stay in the country afterwards.
Sure. And you might not have the choice. They might just put you in detention.
Detention. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
Well, good luck. Yep. AOS interview already, I can't read that, happened. Hello.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Ed.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was the Chilean guy from the other day. About being nervous and anxious because of the interview.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd it go?
So the interview already happened. I was okay. I think I was more nervous with you than anyone else. The officer was really nice. She asked for questions, bad picture.
He's got to call back, Hooli. I can't hear him. He's got to call when he's inside or something. Yes, I did hear that Kristi Noem, I should have put that in my news. The former head of Homeland Security's husband is alleged to have been cross-dressing on websites, putting on fake boobs, and doing very strange things in the photos and on the messages. And of course, this comes on the heels of years worth of rumors that Kristi Noem was having sex with Corey Lewandowski, who was working pretty much illegally for the Department of Homeland Security, it seems. So should be some interesting conversations around the dinner table. Danger maniac. All these conservatives are closeted losers. I think that's right. What do they say? Every accusation is a confession. Yeah, they love to be high and mighty and so self-righteous, and literally once a day or every other day, I'm posting some holy pastor who's been caught diddling little kids. And they're not trans people. They're not drag queens. They're not immigrants. They're the good people. I saw some funny pics floating around as well. You might check out the Daily Mail. That's where you can see them. All right, let's talk to Fun Ant. Hello, Fun Ant.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Could be better.
What's up?
My husband had his consular interview today in Benin, and they gave him. They sent it. They're saying they're sending it back to NVC for revocation. What they were kind of harping on is the fact that he has 3 children from a previous relationship. We're both divorcees, but the 3 children that he has were not with the woman that he was previously married to. Their relationship ended 8 years ago, shortly before the birth of their twins. And that seemed to be what the officer kept circling back to. You know, why did you not marry her? Why did you guys break up? And that topic was what he asked most questions about. And so I'm just trying to figure out exactly where to go from here. And I do know that it takes a long time for that notice or letter or whatever that that I should expect to receive from them. And I'm just trying to figure out what I should do in the meantime, if there are things I can do to prepare for that. Because he's always going to be their father, so that's never going to change. So I'm not sure how to address that when it actually gets back to me.
So as always, and first of all, let me say I'm sorry that happened, and you're right. But this sucks for lots of reasons, but one of the biggest ones that it sucks is because they take their own sweet time, just in even sending it from Benin back to National Visa Center, then back to USCIS. Like that in and of itself can take 6 to 12 months, just that, before you even have the opportunity to respond to this. Okay. But let's start like we should with the timeline. So what years were his kids born?
Let's see. The oldest was born, she's 13, so that would be what, 2013, 20, what year is this? 2026?
Yeah. 2013. That sounds good. How about the next one?
They were born 2018, I believe, because they're going to be 8 this year. Yeah.
Okay, and the last one?
They were twins.
Twins. Okay, cool. Yeah. And you said that your spouse was married once before, right?
Yes.
What were the dates of the marriage?
The dates of the marriage were 2020 through technically 2024. 2024 is when we got married. However, she did not live in Ghana. She's Ghanaian born, because he's Ghanaian. She's Ghanaian born, but her and her mother moved to the US when she was a small child. They got married. She never lived in Ghana. They did not petition for him to come here because unfortunately, it was a marriage that just did not work. They weren't compatible, didn't find this out until after being married.
So, but as far as your boy goes, this is his second marriage to a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And part of me feels like that is really what's behind it, and not necessarily the children. And they're just using the children as an excuse instead of just questioning him about the marriage.
Okay. And what were the questions or topics that the officer talked to your husband about for the kids?
He asked if he had children, if I had children, how many children I had, how many children he has, do we have children together? And then from there, it was, well, why didn't you marry the mother of your children? Why did you guys break up? And then he kind of went back and forth asking different ways, how many children do you guys have? What's the reason that you weren't together? And,
like beating the dead horse.
Yes.
Okay. And did your prior marriage involve anyone getting an immigration benefit?
No. My ex-husband, U.S. born citizen.
And you too?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Did they ask your husband about whether he financially supports the children?
No, he did. Well, he didn't tell me that. I asked him to go through each question. He did not mention anything about finances.
And when it comes to the I-130 application, I assume you haven't filed for those kids to come to the United States?
Correct.
But you did list them on the I-130?
Yep.
So officer, I'm just trying to think it through. Officer says, okay, USCIS approved this petition. They knew that your spouse had children that were born before he married. Well, talk to me about the how much time went by between his divorce being finalized to your getting married?
That it was approximately 3 months, 2.5 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would be an issue. So I did submit at the NVC stage the document from the court showing that the petition to file for divorce was submitted just after he and I met, or just after he and I, began to see each other. So we physically met in August of 2022. That documentation was from September of 2022.
How do you think that helps you?
I just wanted to be sure that they knew it wasn't like he was, messing around behind his wife's back and they were together and then he just did a quickie divorce and um, then turned around and married me.
But it does also show that you and he hooked up while he was still married, though, right?
Yeah. And I to me, that was like, I wasn't sure which way to go with that because I felt like either you're going to get somebody who just sees the date of the divorce and sees the date of our marriage and be like, what the heck is this? But then I also, I didn't know if I would get somebody who was, I don't want to say extremely moral or anything like that and be like, well,
you're just wanting to deny you. How did you meet originally?
we were both in a wedding party and the bride is American and the groom is Ghanaian. And so they created a group chat, a WhatsApp group chat for the bridal party to get to know each other before the wedding festivities began in Ghana.
Okay. So they think that if they send your case back for possible revocation, they know that USCIS is going to reaffirm it. They also know that's going to take a year and a half. I think they're trying to put pressure on the marriage because he's someone who has fathered children with one woman, been married and divorced another woman, and that they think that if they put pressure on your marriage by not giving the visa, that they can, help this marriage to fall apart, and then they don't have to give him a visa.
I suspected that as well, but I just wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. So I think it's going to be a tough case. What was his answer as to why he didn't marry their mother? Because the kids were 5 years apart.
Yeah, well, they actually they were having some issues before she became pregnant, and he did not go into detail as to the specifics of the breakup, but there were family pressures because of religious differences in backgrounds. The family did not approve of the two of them dating. He wasn't ready for another child, and because she became pregnant, she was trying to pressure him to marry her. So it was like all of that together just kind of put strain on an already fragile relationship, and they just ended up parting ways.
Were there any other topics at the embassy interview that we haven't talked about that they spent time talking about?
No.
So what do you think?
I think, as you said, they're trying to, put pressure on our relationship just to see what will happen, because I know there are people who have children from previous relationships and they were approved just fine.
Yeah.
People who were previously married and divorced and they were approved just fine. So I think it's just the combination of two marriages that are very close together, and the assumption that, he's got to be trying to get benefit, even though he never filed, they didn't petition for him during the first marriage. This is the first petition for a spousal visa. I think it's just that fact alone, and they're just trying to see what happens. So that's my guess.
And what country do those kids live in?
They are in Ghana as well.
And your husband is from Ghana?
Yes.
Okay, I think you said Benin. I don't know where I got Benin.
That's where he interviewed at.
Okay. How did that come about?
We transferred his case over there because there was such a huge backlog in Ghana.
That sucks, because now you're like, oh, I wish maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I would have gotten a nicer officer in Ghana, but of course there's no way to know that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in answer to your question, I don't think he's coming anytime soon. And I think that whether he comes at all is even debatable. How much time did you guys actually spend together face to face before you got married?
I went for, not including the weekend of the wedding the week of the wedding festivities of our friend.
Yeah.
I had 2 visits the following year. The first visit was in January, several months after we met, and I was certain that he was actually filing for divorce. That was short because I wasn't sure, how it would go with the two of us just being alone. And then later that year, I was there for 6 weeks. And then the trip where we got married, I was there for a month. And then the following maybe 6 months, 4 months later, 4 or 5 months later, I was there again for another month. And so I was averaging like 2 trips a year for the first 2 years. Last year, I was only able to go one time, and that again was for a month.
That's all pretty good. And then is he actively involved in the kids' lives?
Yes, he is. Yes.
I mean, I think that's another part of it too, is that if they give him the visa, then he's going to be cutting that off from the kid. The officer would be, in theory, cutting off that relation between the kids. And I think that's another reason why they can sort of push back.
Because I mean, that was a concern of mine, how he would handle being away from the kids. He doesn't, it's not like he sees them every day, but he does try to be an active father for them because he, loves his children. So that is something that we had talked about, and we were just like, we're just gonna have to make it work. It's not like he's.
Have you met?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Have you met those kids?
No, I have not met the kids. That was something that was because they don't live in the same village, and so he only gets them when they go on like their school breaks, which have never coincided with when I visited. I've talked to them on the phone. They don't speak English, so it's more like waving and interpreting through my husband, but we haven't physically spent one-on-one time.
When did the State Department get the case from USCIS?
They got that in August of last year.
Okay, so I would say at the very least, the one thing you could do is in August, if the case hasn't reached USCIS with a notice of possible revocation, I would sue them at that point, because at least you can cut off 6 or 8 or 9 months of waiting for that. And, you could be ready to file a response. They're going to say, prove to us the marriage is real. So you're going to have to submit more evidence and all that stuff. And then it'll get sent back. And then you might have a fighting chance, and you might just take your shot in Ghana instead of in Benin again.
Okay. So when you say sue them, would that be like the mandamus or something different? Okay.
Yeah.
So approximately a year from when USCIS sent it to the State Department. Yeah,
which is technically pretty fast, but you have a more complicated history in that that what's going to happen is they're going to play this game. So in your lawsuit, we would sue USCIS and the State Department so that they can't play this game of hot potato of who's got the case, right? And that's really what you're up against more than anything, is they're going to start playing these games where like, oh, we sent it on to the National Visa Center. Oh no, we sent it to USCIS. Oh, we sent it back. You know what I mean? Or we'll send you notice of intent to deny when we feel like it. Well, we don't want them to do that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm writing notes real slow for a second.
You can always watch the replay too.
Okay. And then, oh gosh, I forgot what my last question was, but so that's pretty much my option at this point, is to sue both USCIS and the State Department at the same time. So that, okay. Now, should I request a record of what the CO wrote up through FOIA, or?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I had.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for your help, Jim.
Have a good day.
You too.
Oh, I'm being directed down below. Let's see. Well, there's no Monty there. That's not my Monty, right, Huli? No. Oh, I see. Temmy's here. Hello, Temmy.
Hello, my boss.
How you doing, brother?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think I have one of my friends was bothering me for a long time, but I don't wanted to answer him. But today I said, okay, let me try my shot, like he said to the woman. So, and it was clicking. So this story go like this. I just want to give you a little background of the guy. I think he came here, I think 2014, and he filed for the asylum, and the asylum 2018 was referred to court, and then from court during they give him to 2019 for final hearing, and after that, the COVID-19 kick in, all those kind of things. So 2022, finally, he got another new lawyer, and the new lawyer said, "Oh, you have a good case, but we need to refile this case because the former lawyer is not doing the good job." So the guy going with the guy, and the guy terminates the proceeding or the court, so they refile. But the surprise is on 2022, he got a letter when he was trying to file for the working authorization due through to the new asylum. And they're going front and back, okay, bring this, bring that. Then fast forward 2023, they deny him that he don't have any asylum case with them. So he was kind of shocked. And luckily for him, he's already married in 2023. Then he just forget about them. Then he filed for the what I call it, for the working authorization through to that one. Now there's a scenario happened to him with the wife, and kind of ending 2025 in filing for VAWA. But my question is, he was telling me something since January that they told him that if like file the VAWA in court, and I said I never had that one. What do you mean by VAWA in court? He said there's a friend that said there's a one lawyer that he used to help them to file a VAWA in court, that it will make it faster than to wait for a long time before the all the shutdown or pending for the 37 country. So I wanted to ask, is it true or it just a scammer something again?
I think the chances of this brother getting VAWA in immigration court are 0.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing this game for a long time. What country is he from?
It's my country, from Nigeria.
So, just to outline, he's had an asylum case, a marriage case, and now he wants to do a VAWA case. They're gonna cut through that quick, and they're just gonna say, "You're out of here, buddy."
Oh, okay. So you should just wait with the one that is already filed.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like he needs a real lawyer. It sounds like he's playing around with a bunch of fake lawyers. There's no real strategy. He's just throwing up, filing whatever shit he thinks he can file next, or whatever the next person convinces him to file.
Okay, maybe I'll give him the number of this thing to talk to one of your people.
Okay, Temmie. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Peace. All right. That was our man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I have a quick question. So a friend came to the U.S. undocumented over 20 years ago and later married a U.S. citizen. He was eventually granted U.S. citizenship in 2009 and paid all the necessary fines for having crossed illegally and did everything that he needed to. So he's a U.S. citizen. He also has a redress number, although we've recently tried to log into the DHS portal and it doesn't have any of his information on that portal. So I wanted to ask if there's any concern with them leaving and re-entering the country.
Probably not, but the one thing I would do is I would FOIA the shit out of everybody that I could. I would track down my USCIS file. I would track down my immigration court file. I would want to see everything humanly possible before I do that.
And so just have copies of those files, but for when you travel?
Maybe, but no, more so to educate himself on what they have in their system about him.
Okay, so that if they do ask him questions, he can know what was said and how to respond.
He can be intelligent, yeah. And it might give him guidance as to whether or not he should even leave.
Okay, but do you think being a U.S. citizen, having a U.S. passport and having a redress number, there's any concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a small concern, like a 1 or 2% chance. But I mean, there's clearly a pattern of CBP relitigating issues related to people's immigration status at the border. And would it surprise me if you called me up and said, Jim, this guy, he became a U.S. citizen. You know, he came 20 years ago. He eventually got his citizenship in 2009. And I mean, when he came back, they said, yeah, we think you got your citizenship by mistake. I think that'd be really, really hard for them to do, but could they do it? The answer is yes. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Does he have an N600?
I can ask. What is that?
That's the most important thing. So thank you, Rafi. Rafi's so smart. Okay, so you probably know that when it comes to immigration, there's sort of two big parts of it. One is USCIS, which gives out benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other is the State Department.
Mm-hmm.
So even on this show, we've probably had 10 or 15 people who were able to get a U.S. passport, but were not able to establish to the satisfaction of USCIS that they were, in fact, a U.S. citizen. Now, he very well probably is. Did he get his green card from a judge or from USCIS?
I'd have to confirm.
Yeah. So the worry. So an N600 is a certificate of citizenship. So if indeed he is a U.S. citizen, I would agree with Rafi's suggestion. I would not leave the United States until, one, I had FOIA'd everything, gotten copies of all my files, and filed for and received an approved N600 and have my certificate of citizenship, and I would travel with a copy of that.
Of the N600 and have copies of all the files.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about him traveling with the files. The files are so that we can educate ourselves and figure out what the situation is.
Okay. And what's the difference between getting the green card through a judge or USCIS?
It's not necessarily that it's different. It's that I want to know how, because there's potential for problems or mischief in either approach. So for instance, if he had been in immigration court and USCIS gave him the green card by mistake, I mean, the thing you have to understand is not only is he going to be the one going back to 2009 and before to look at his immigration history, but they're going to do that. So they would love nothing more than to catch this guy at the border. They say, yeah, we got to let you in because you've got that passport. We're going to let you in. But we're also going to start denaturalization because we think that back in the day, USCIS made a mistake in giving you your original green card. Or we think the immigration judge made some kind of jurisdictional or legal error in adjudicating your green card. And so we're going to revisit that. And they do that either by bringing an action in federal court or putting him in removal or whatever it is, right? So unless USCIS has certified that he's a U.S. citizen, I wouldn't try.
Okay, so with the N600 and that certification, that would be fine.
Yeah, but that's a big if, sister. I mean, it's going to take him probably a year to get his certificate of citizenship.
Really? Okay.
It sounds like my sister has a trip plan that she was hoping everything would be okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how do you get an N600?
You fill out the form and pay the fee. It's like $1,200.
Okay. All right. I just received confirmation that he did not get the green card through a judge. So it was the U.S. Immigration Service.
Yeah. So this person needs to talk to an immigration lawyer and have everything. You said they entered without inspection, right?
Since getting the redress number, they've entered fine.
No, that wasn't my question. Originally, when they came, they entered without inspection. They didn't have a visa.
Correct.
Yeah. So there might have been a mistake that USCIS made. I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying there might have been, and this is something that I wouldn't leave ahead of time.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call.
Thanks.
She sounds like she's going to, hopefully she got some trip insurance. I forgot to say something. Our friend Aiden and Luis are here in the United States, and Luis made it through. I forgot. I saw that earlier. So congratulations to Aiden, aka Gaden, and Luis. Happy for you guys. And then Timmy Jimmy. I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up with the whole feed. And Rohini Paul says, "Hey Jim, I was approved. I spoke to you about 2 weeks ago." Well, we like that. Thanks for the call. Good news. Good news. Let's go to Lost My Green Card. Hello.
Yes, sir. Hi, Jim. Thank you.
Of course.
And yeah, I have a quick question. I lost my green card, and it's time for my naturalization, like the citizenship. So I'm planning to apply. So should I apply for the I-90 for replacement green card, or I just
Here's what I would say. I've had plenty of clients get their citizenship with a missing green card. Did you file a police report? Do you know what happened to it?
I haven't filed police report yet.
So in the past, I've had plenty of clients get their citizenship with a lost green card, and it hasn't been a problem. I would say right now, I'd probably go ahead and file for it, and then I would also go ahead and apply for citizenship. But technically, you can naturalize without having your green card. They make you sign this statement. It slows things down. It's more of a hassle. But I would say these days, if you can afford it, I would apply for the I-90. And of course, if you want to travel, you have to apply for the I-90. So
no, I don't have any traveling plan, or I have some financial problem. That's why I'm just I just try to save money.
So just file the N-400 and let it go.
400, and I have the copy. Like I have the picture of the green card. I can print it out and give it to them.
Perfect. I mean, they have records of it too, but that's perfect.
So you suggest me to go for N40, N400, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about your case, but I wouldn't say that because I don't have my green card that I'm not going to file. So if you want to go ahead and file, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Yep. Milta. Hello, Milta.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
I have a question for you about my N400 application that I submitted back in April 2025. I'm an Iranian citizen. Got my green card through NIW in 2025, and basically applied for my N400 back in April of last year. I got my interview canceled twice. For the third time on December 1st, I had my interview, and everything was quite normal. Just very few questions were asked, and no problem there. They gave me the form that I passed the civic test, and right after that, I believe the day after that, or in the same afternoon, the president banned processing the Iranian citizens' immigration applications, and since that time, I have not obviously heard anything. Even for the interview, my case was not updated on the USCIS website. It still says interview canceled. I called the service center and they said that is okay. We do see that you completed your interview, but nothing basically has happened. Today marks the 120th day that I completed my interview with the USCIS, and I'm wondering if that 120-day rule applies to me as an Iranian citizen, given the fact that our basically USCIS, I heard that, I'm not sure to what extent that's true, but USCIS is not going to provide any immigration benefits to the Iranian citizens.
Right. So, I don't know if you know about me or have heard about us, but we have a lawsuit challenging this very policy right now.
Yeah.
And so I do also have, I believe, 2 people who are in that boat, in that lawsuit, and have gone past their 120 days, and we have filed separate lawsuits for them, right?
Right.
So they are still making their way through the system. So I don't know how the government's going to try to treat those. They might just say, hey, the pause is the pause, but I think that the statutory provisions in 1447B should, no pun intended, trump the pause, right? So if I were you, what I would do is keep watching the show, keep paying attention to what we're doing here, and maybe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'll have a better sense as to what's happening on our 1447B is the provision, the 120-day provision.
Right.
And I should be able to give you better. I mean, we could do it now if you want, but I think it just, given the sense that we're right on the verge of a ruling from the judge in my case and some other cases, and given the fact that we have a couple 1447Bs ahead of yours, I would just sit tight a week or two and see what happens. And I would feel good knowing that other people are ahead of me, and I'm going to find out one way or the other here pretty soon.
Sure. No, that sounds like a plan, because I'm calling you basically to get some advice from you, either if it will be a proper avenue for me to progress my application by suing the USCIS at this time, or I need to wait, or it's not going to do anything good for me, especially given the fact that even if we sue USCIS, how they're going to like process, even if they approve my application, assuming that everything goes well, and they approve my application, probably I will not get my oath ceremony because of that ban and like what's going on with the current administration. So you agree that I need to wait, like, to see what's going to happen on those lawsuits?
That's what I would do.
Okay. Then that's pretty much all I wanted to check with you. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks for the call. You got
you.
it. Hey, Huli, I need to take a bathroom break. Can you hop on and say hello to everybody?
Hi, everyone. How are you? Sure. Hi, guys. So now is my time to shine. And I know Daniel will say this, or Daniel Axelbaum. So hi. And everyone, remember, if you guys are looking for guidance, you are invited to participate on the show. Jim does this show basically every single day for 1.5 hours, totally free. Just click on the link to join into our waiting room, answer some couple of questions, and then you will be ready to go to talk to Jim. Be patient. That's the only thing that we request. And if you're looking to have a legal team to help you with your case, just give us a call at 314-961-8200. Also, remember, you can write us to our WhatsApp. Okay, we don't receive calls in WhatsApp, but we can answer you on WhatsApp by typing. Okay, it's down here. It's our only official WhatsApp. It's 314-685-6254. Once again, remember, we don't charge for consultations. What we do is offer you a screen call where we evaluate your case and let you know how we can help you. Okay, and remember again, visit our website so you can know what we can do for you, how we can help you, and also our social media. We have an awesome community on Facebook and our Instagram as well. Let me see what I'm missing. Oh, TikTok. Okay, so hi everyone. Oh, hi Anna. Anna's here. I have fans.
Oh, yeah, you have fans for sure. Everyone but Daniel is happy you're on the show.
Yeah, that's why I say hi to him first.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Lily.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Well,
all right, we'll get back to business. Let's talk to Alex. Did we talk to Alex? I don't know.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Alex.
Yeah, no, you haven't spoken to me yet.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm from one of the 39 countries. Last week, I got an interview invite from USCIS, and I got really excited. But subsequently, the next day, it got canceled, and I was back to my mental torture. So this pause is actually really doing a number on my mental health, and I'm considering leaving the country, and that would mean pulling the I-485. Would you be able to tell me what the repercussions of that are? Pulling it now, leaving the country, and then maybe applying via consular process after this government is out.
What is the basis of your adjustment? Is it employment, family?
A family-based AOS, yeah.
Spouse?
Yes, American citizen.
Okay. I would never, ever presume to question somebody's decision-making when it's based on their mental health. So I don't presume to do that at all. But do you have your work card?
Nothing at all. Can't make money. Everything is really expensive. I'm just stuck.
What was your status at the time that you filed?
So I'm still currently under F1 status, but obviously I can't work on that. Graduating May this year, and I can apply for OPT, but it's not going to be granted. It's going to be paused, so it's just stuck in limbo. So it's yeah.
If I gave you my blessing and said, Alex, you're right, you should get the fuck out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
When would you leave?
Probably sometime in July.
Okay. So can you and I have an agreement that we won't think about leaving or not until May? Because by May, I think we'll have a better sense as to whether or not you're going to get OPT. I think certainly one of the things that my judge was really, really concerned about was EADs.
Mm.
And, let's say, not that this conversation never really came up, but let's just say for the sake of argument that there are national security concerns or other things that might lead the White House to do some of the things that they're doing. Having work authorization doesn't do anything other than harm the person who's applying for a benefit. So I could see a scenario where at least maybe there's a partial lifting and they have to do work cards. I just don't know, right? And there are probably lawsuits that are just about the work cards. Mine's broader than that, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say that if you know that even if we agreed that it's good for you to leave, you're not going to leave till July, I would say let's sit tight till May and see what the landscape looks like then.
All right, so that leads me to my next question. So if you do decide to move forward with the second lawsuit, will it take the same time trajectory as the first one? Like
narrator's voice. I sure as hell hope not.
Okay, so it's just a waiting game. And
yeah.
So I'd like to join the second lawsuit if possible.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. We'll keep you posted, buddy.
All right, thank you very much.
Hang in there. I'm sorry it's so stressful, and you're right. Mental stress is definitely what a lot of this is, and that's part of the design.
Yeah, I know. I don't want them to win. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't either. Thank you, Alex. I don't want them to win either. That's for damn sure. Green is here. Hello, Green.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. What's up?
Okay, so, all right. Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, I can already tell this is going to be a good call. Okay, go ahead.
It's going to be a really good one.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so my husband, he came over here on a B2 visa. We put in the paperwork. Well, I take the necessary step. I hire a lawyer. He put in the paperwork, the adjustment of status and everything before he overstayed. We recently got an RFE in February. I think it was January,
Okay.
the 20th, about requesting for more financial documents for or joint sponsor. They couldn't tell his income different from. Basically, they couldn't tell what he was making from. How should I explain?
From his business or from his partner?
From his partner, correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry. So
wait, do I hear a side character whispering there to you?
It's my husband.
Go ahead.
So they submitted the document. The document that they submitted the first time with the affidavit of support was basically like an account transcript. So USCIS told us that this document is not sufficient enough for them to actually determine his income. Yeah. So we went ahead. I sent the lawyer this W-2 forms, is a job letter, and also a copy of the 1040.
For the co-sponsor?
Yes.
For 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. The lawyer submitted what they wanted to submit, which was only the 1040 income. They did not submit the job letter. They did not submit the W-2 form. They did not submit anything else. Only that and a updated form for the 864. Also advised them that on his W-2 form, his tax form, that he filed married jointly. I sent them a paper, the 864A, which his spouse signed for them to submit with it as well, so it doesn't cause any confusion. They did not submit that. They only submitted what they wanted to submit.
And you're sure they're lawyers?
Honestly, Jim, I really don't know.
Well, here's an easy way to tell, okay? All the forms, did you send them in or did they send them in and sign the forms?
They sent them in.
Okay, so they're probably lawyers.
They were the ones who sent the forms in.
Did they sign them?
Yes.
Their name, someone's name other than you and your spouse?
No, my name or signature is on it. But what they did was that they sent us the form before it was filled out for us to sign it, and then they send it in.
Yeah, that's a lot of people do that. That's not a good practice. Okay.
So
but the copies of forms that you have, are they, besides being signed by you, are they also signed by someone from this company that may or may not be a law firm?
Yes, they are signed by the company, the law firm. Yeah.
Okay.
The preparer part is signed by them. So we received a denial notice.
Whoa.
Yes.
Sucks.
And guess what the denial notice says?
That wasn't enough stuff, that you didn't give them what they wanted?
Correctly.
And that they didn't get that, more specifically, your lawyer didn't give them what you gave the lawyer to give to USCIS.
Correctly. And they could not prove the joint sponsor individual income by itself.
And the joint sponsor, what, they have like a business?
Oh no, he's actually a teacher.
So he's
But he does jobs on the side like DoorDash or Uber, and he also files for that, which is a 1099.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. That's aggressive. The I-130 is still pending and the 45 is now denied.
Correct.
Did they send a notice of intent to deny?
No, they did not. They just sent a straight up denial.
If you were to have an interview, what city would that interview be in?
Indianapolis.
Oh, that damn place. They're not.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's a good question. What did your lawyer say?
So basically I speak with them yesterday. Honestly, Jim, he's so confused because the first thing he said to me was that he doesn't know how it got denied. I told him I knew it was going to get denied because you did not provide what I provided to you to them.
Yeah.
So there's obviously it was going to get denied. He said that his income meet the threshold.
That doesn't mean it's going to get approved though.
The thing is that USCIS is asking for proof of how his income actually meet the threshold. He keep telling me that it meets it, but you're not seeing the point of what I'm trying to say, that they're trying to see how did he meet this kind of income.
Right. So this lawyer must think Joe Biden is still president. So okay. So the first thing I want you to understand is that your phone call with him yesterday doesn't mean jack shit. Okay.
It does not. I know that. I've been worrying the whole day. I've been trying to figure out what am I supposed to do, because now they want me to pay another retainer fee to retain them to file the motion to reopen.
No.
And do I want to pay him a retainer fee to file a motion to reopen my case for them to mess it up again? I'm not sure if I want to do that.
I think we could agree that you would probably do a better job the second time around than he did.
That's exactly what I told my husband. I can do it myself because I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I just need the advice of what I'm supposed to file or.
Oh, timeout. My strong suggestion is not that you file a motion to reopen. My strong suggestion is you file a 485, a new 485.
Okay.
What your spouse, what was their status? Oh, so now they're out of status, right?
Correct.
And then they don't have a work card, right?
No, they did not issue a work card.
How much did you pay this law firm?
$6,000.
I would say you didn't get your money's worth, and of course you've lost the $1,440 that you paid and the EAD. That's gone too.
Yes.
So, and the other thing I want to just throw out there for everybody, just as a point of reference, is most people that receive a request for evidence having to do with an I-864 receive this 4-page document that has a shitload of stuff in there that's just boilerplate language. It doesn't really tell you what's wrong with your case, right? So this lawyer sounds like they might not know what they're doing, and that they weren't able to. I mean, the sad thing is you realized exactly what it was and pointed it out to them and gave them what you needed to get your case approved. So I think if I were you, the first thing I'd be worried about is ICE coming tomorrow with a notice to appear. That's number one. So and filing a new I-45 gets him back in status in a way that filing a motion to reopen does not, which is why I would do that.
Okay.
So I would be working very, very quickly to get an affidavit of support or a whole new I-45 on file with the affidavit of support and all that stuff, right? So, and once I get that done, or maybe even 2 tracks, we're operating on 2 tracks. The other track is when I said that your phone call with him doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is you need to write a complete chronology of the whole relationship that you've had with this law firm, with dates, details, the more specific you can be. And then you need to say, I want my $6,000 back, and I want my $1,440 back, and I want my $260 for the EAD back. And if you don't give me those things back, I'm going to sue you.
Okay.
But I wouldn't threaten the lawsuit in the first letter. Right now, I would say, you guys messed this up. I need a refund, and I need a complete accounting for all the time. I need my complete file. I need your entire timesheets and whatever time you spent on this case. I need to know everything about it because you guys messed this up, and you had everything you needed to do it, and you didn't send it. So there you go.
Okay.
But I would put the priority is getting your husband's 45 back on file, and then that's issue number 1, and then issue number 1A is getting that refund or documenting the relationship with the lawyer because they screwed up.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Jim. Sorry.
No.
Good evening. Can we get the number so we can contact you off here?
Yeah, we can help, because if you hired us to help, I'd even help you try to get your money back from the lawyer. I couldn't guarantee it, but that is something that I have fun doing sometimes.
That would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Juli's got you. She'll reach out, and I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
We even have an attorney in Indiana. How about that? Jasmine says she paid $7,000. Lil Apple Dumpling says that as a Muslim, you're not supposed to cuss, Jim. What the F? That's true. I'm not supposed to cuss. That's true. One of these days, I will mend my terrible ways and stop cussing. Amani would be very happy. My Amani would be very happy if I stopped cussing. Let's talk to the other Amani. Hello, Amani.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. I applied for asylum 2014, and then 2017 I got my interview. Then I filed for mandamus and got a second interview and got approved.
Good for you.
Thank you. And then I applied for the green card, and I filed for mandamus with your office and got the green card.
Good for you.
Thank you. I applied for citizenship last year. I got my interview January 24th. I passed the test, and they couldn't make a decision. My question.
January 24th of 2026?
Yes.
And are you from a banned country?
No, I'm from Iraq.
Okay, perfect.
Do I wait for the 120 days or?
Yeah, wait 120. Yep.
Okay. And then file for inquiry?
No, just sue them.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'll call your office once the 120 20 days pass.
So what's that like? Let's see, February, March, April, May. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Amani.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. All right, that was a quick call. Big ups. Jamaica in the house. Hello.
Hello. Thank you.
Of course.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing? Thanks for asking.
I'm good. I tried to get on your show yesterday, and my phone kicked me off, so I'm happy to be here right now.
Oh, awesome. Me too.
Okay, so this is what's going on. My fiance had his K1 interview in Jamaica last Monday, the 23rd. He was given a 221G because he needs a copy of the police arrest record. So what happened? Are you still there?
Oh, yes, sister, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. So what had happened was 19 years ago, he was arrested. The case was dismissed and he was found not guilty. So he admitted to the arrest, gave the court at his interview, gave his court document, the saying not guilty, dismissed, and his clean police record. So the officer said, he kept his passport. We need that copy of the arrest record. It's going to be very difficult to get that. We cannot get anyone to help us. We went down to the police station and they said, we don't probably even have that record because he was found not guilty. We probably destroyed it. So what do we do to satisfy the U.S. Embassy so we can get this paperwork in? And he said, once we get it in, they can issue the visa.
So I don't buy probably. So probably doesn't float with me. So
right.
You'd be amazed at how many people have told me, Jim, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to get X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I push them and say, you got to get it, then they somehow find a way to get it. So what I would do is I would hire the best criminal lawyer I can find in the town where he lives and have them help. I wouldn't just give up based on them giving him the stiff arm.
Right. Yeah. Because it's only been a week. We're just kind of sorting through everything. I actually am speaking to one of the police officers privately. He seems like he wants to help. Good. I was thinking that too, of getting an attorney and having them
I bet you $10 there's something you can give them that'll make them happy.
Oh, that has already been discussed. And it's just, we're on Jamaica time. Nobody's in a rush. So so my next question to you is, what have you heard of cases like that where someone is not convicted? They were found not guilty, case dismissed. Have you heard of them denying the visa anyways, with no other 19 years ago, not one other interaction with the police?
Very, very rarely.
Okay. So there's hope.
Oh, there's hope. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And they kept his passport. So I'm assuming that sounds like that's a good sign, because they could have denied him.
Maybe.
Okay. So just keep working on that piece of paper. And then the last thing I want to ask you is, should he also, when he gives them that paper that they need, should he also put the court document in with it as well, and maybe like a personal, professionally typed letter just saying,
hopefully that letter will come from the lawyer. That'd be the other thing you'd want them to do, is explain there's no legal effect under Jamaican law.
Okay. Now, if we cannot get that paper, is there something that would be in replace of it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You got it. Have a good day.
Okay. You too.
All right. Let's go to Laziz. Hello, Laziz. You're on mute.
Hello, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Of course.
Hey, Jim, I have a question. I sent my 751 and then while it was like pending, I sent also N400.
My favorite. Yes, I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, and it's still pending. But my question is, I never registered to the SSS. The what was the full name for that?
Selective service.
Selective service, correct? Yes, sir. Selective service, because when I came to the US, I just came as a B1, B2. Then I adjusted status to the student. And by the time when I was already, actually, the long story short, I'm going through the marriage, right?
Wait, just real
So
quick. I got you. So
yeah. So
when you got your
when
when you got your green card, were you over 26 or under 26?
over 26, they gave me actually 2 years green card, the conditional one, right? So and now that's why I mean you understood already because I submitted the 751.
When
So
you got when you got the 2-year green card, the start date on your green card, when you first became a lawful permanent resident, you were already over 26.
yes, sir.
This is not an issue.
No, so I shouldn't worry about anything.
Well, that's a different question, brother. I don't know what you should worry about, but you don't have to worry about that.
No, the thing is, I never registered, right? It can
Yeah.
be technically, in my case, a problem,
No.
or
Nope.
no. Okay, and that's great. And the second question I had, actually, I had a ticket back days in 2021, right? So for the speeding, and I was changing the state, and I really forgot to pay the ticket, and eventually I end up into the warrant, and then from the old address, some of my friends they send me that you have a warrant for whatever they call bench warrant, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So then I contacted the court and I paid everything off, and they closed the case. But when I was filling up the application for N400, they asked me, there is a question. It says, have you ever been not arrested for whatever crime you did? I was like, I've never done a crime, right? So I said no. However, I read till the end the question. It says like, even if there is a citation, I was like, does that citation go to this? It applies actually to this question. I didn't know, so I said no to that. And what should I do now? Because I find out, because I think I messed up the answer with that question, right?
You did not. You're fine.
I'm fine because it was closed. I mean, I paid all the fees and all the whatever is instead of paying like 300, I paid like 600 and up. So I should be fine with that too.
Yes.
Okay. And the last question. We live with my wife in the house of their parents. So they live, I mean, abroad, but they coming and going back and forth. So technically helping them to pay the mortgage and living there too. But we do not have any official lease agreement. I mean, but we did between me and her parents, and the lease. I don't know how to explain it. That template I just got it from the one of the websites, right, for the lease, and we fill it up together and sign it. So it shows my name and my spouse name. And is it okay, or it should be notarized, or it doesn't count as a formal lease?
You live with your in-laws? Is that what you're saying?
Technically, yes, but they are between the two countries. They live abroad and they're coming back to US, staying here for a couple of months only in a year.
Do you pay rent to them?
Yes, I mean, how pay? I mean, I Zelle, like, and I have the proofs.
What's the rent that they charge you every month?
Are you talking about how much is this?
Yeah.
It's the full price of the mortgage, basically.
So you have a lease with them where you pay the amount of the mortgage since they're not there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
How should I prove it, or that's the document we did? It's more than enough.
Well, I would show proof of all the rent that you've paid.
So, do you mean the Zelle transactions?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand how can I do that? Just going to my bank statements, or?
Yeah, and printing out all the payments, whatever you made it to the bank or to them or whatever it was. Yeah, you got to document it. That's how you prove the payments.
So I never submitted. Should I? So if I go to my account on the, actually I was trying to submit the those not evidence, but what do you call? papers is, I mean, actually, there is one more thing I need to clarify. I submitted in the 2024 751, right? And since till now, they didn't do the decision on 751. And last year, I applied to the N400. And still, there is nothing to. It's almost a year past. Is it normal for these days?
Yes.
With this administration, I mean?
Yes.
And there is nothing I can do because I checked on the website. It says only after July I can contact them.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do. Okay.
Thanks, Aziz.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right, let's go to Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, I doing. Big fan of yours, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm a 20-year-old. I'm gonna tell you my whole story, like real quick. Basically, my mom was a resident back then, back in 2021. She filed out for the I-130 for me. Back in August 27, 2021, and it was accepted back on January 2, 2022. So the I-130 was already accepted, but this process was consular. When I came here under humanitarian parole back on February 14, 2024. Well, my mother became a citizen. That's that's one of the things. Last year, on June 2nd, yeah, on June 10th, 2025. Yeah, and I applied for adjustment of status. I did everything on my own. Like when I was like 19, I did everything. I'm very lucky that I don't have a marriage case, because all the mess with the marriage cases, all the mess right now with this administration. So yeah, my question is, I already filed for adjustment of status. My case was at the National Benefit Center. My interview was waived. I only received a RFE about my birth certificate back on July 24. I applied on July 2, by the way, July 2, 2025, and I received the RFE on July 24, 2025. And I responded on August 6, 2025. So it's been like it's almost like 8 months post RFE. After my RFE response. Do you think I should make an inquiry?
What country are you from?
I'm actually from Nicaragua. Nicaragua is not is not from like the 39 countries. So I don't think it's like affecting anything. I contacted Emma several times, the live agents they have, but I don't think it is affecting.
I think the entry is.
Yeah, the humanitarian parole.
Yeah, they are taking the position in other situations that that's not a valid entry for purposes of adjustment. So I think they're going to sit on your case for a while.
Yeah, so just the RFE, and recently, I asked like on the 27th of this month. Yeah, on March 27th, I asked on my case. Now it's at the Baltimore field office, which is my local office.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and they say my interview is waived.
Yeah, but we don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, you will never know. So I already filed an inquiry on March 6th because of the RFE. USCIS says, they will take their sweet time, as you say. They don't care. But yeah, I already made an inquiry on March 6th. They're responding back. They responded on March 27th. Yeah, with the generic responses they have. It was just a generic response. And I also applied for work authorization, which hasn't been approved yet too.
Yep, I think you're just waiting.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. So what do you suggest? Do you suggest talking to my congressman next month?
Go for it.
All right. Do you think that's gonna work?
No.
Yeah, you're right. All right, thank you.
Andrew, see you, buddy. All right. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow for another exciting episode 1027 of the Immigration Answer Show, 3:00 tomorrow, April 1st, 2026. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Huli, thank you for your help. Everybody on TikTok, thank you as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oops, let me turn on the music.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of need.